Hi there, swallows and swans. I hope you're having a lovely day. This PowerPoint that I'm going to go through today is also saved in your folders. Today we're going to look at measuring time in hours. So let's have a look at the beginning. Before we do, let's remind ourselves how many minutes there are in 1 hour. Shout it to me. 60 minutes in 1 hour. And how many hours in a day? 24 hours in a day. Okay, so let's have a look at the in focus. A man started his car journey at, let's have a look at the analog clock. You should be able to tell the time on this. The hour hand has passed the 10, it's nearly at the 11. That tells me that it's 10 something, it's not quite 11 o'clock yet. The minute hand is pointing to the 9, that means 45 minutes. So 45 minutes have passed 10, so it is 10:45, or we could also say that as 11:45. And actually, when you look at the hour hand, it's getting quite close to the 11. Now, he started his car journey at 10:45 in the morning. So can you tell me, on a count of 3, whether that's 10:45 a.m. or 10:45 p.m.? 1, 2, 3, 10:45 a.m. Okay, he ended the journey at, let's have a look, the hour hand is between the 1 and the 2, which means it's gone 1 o'clock. And it's nearly 2 o'clock. And the minute hand is also at the 9. We had that one before, so we know that's 45 minutes. So it is 45 minutes past 1, or 1:45. Another way of saying that is 1:45 in the afternoon. So again, have a think, AM or PM. Tell me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. It's 1:45 PM. Okay, let's learn. Lulu and Ravi were trying different ways to work out how long the journey took. So they've got a timeline here. It starts at 10:45, because that's when the man started his journey, and it ends at 1:45, the time he finished. Now Lulu has been counting the journey in hours. So she's gone from 10:45 to 11:45, 11:45 to 12:45, and 12:45 to 1:45. So she has calculated the journey took 1, 2, 3 hours. Ravi did it a slightly different way. He counted the minutes from 10:45 up to the nearest o'clock, which we know is 11 o'clock. And he knows that that's 15 minutes, so he's jumped 15 minutes to get from 10:45 to 11. He's then counted the hours from 11 to 12. 1 hour, and then 12 to 1, that's another hour. And then how many minutes from 1 o'clock to 1:45? 45 minutes. If we add those up, I'm going to start with the hours because it's always easiest to count the biggest numbers first. So 1 hour plus 1 hour is 2 hours, and then 15 minutes plus 45 minutes, that's 1 more hour. So he calculated the journey was 3 hours as well. So they both got the same answer, which tells us that both their methods were correct. It's just 2 different ways of working out that problem. I'd love to know which of those you prefer. Do you prefer Lulu's method or Ravi's method? Maybe you can write a little note in your book to let me know. Okay, now we're going to do some activities now. So can you make sure you've got your home book and your pencil with you? If you haven't, just pause the video and start it again when you're ready. Okay, so we're going to do some activities that are very similar to that. The following activities started in the morning and ended in the afternoon. How long was each activity? So I'd like you to look at the analog clocks and practice reading them. I know we've got the answers underneath, but can you check that you recognise that this is 10 o'clock? The hour hand's pointed to the 10, the minute hand's pointed to the 12. Try and read each clock before you look at the answers. Okay, what I'd like you to do in your home books is write down the answers. You might want to pause the video now, and when you have written down, unpause it, and I'll go through the answers with you and we'll see if you're correct. Okay? Right, we're ready to go through the answers in 3, 2, 1. Okay. So the journey started at 10 o'clock and ended at 2 o'clock. So 10 to 11, 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, that's 4 hours. Now B, 9:15 to 4:15. Did you do it Lulu's way or did you use Ravi's method? 9:15 to 10:15 to 11:15, 12:15, 1:15, 2:15, 3:15, 4:15. 7 hours. And then in C, 11:55 to 1:55. I'm going to use Ravi's method this time. So 11:55 to 12, that's 5 minutes. 12 till 1, that's 1 hour. And then 55 minutes plus the first 5 makes 2 hours. Which method did you use? I'd love you to journal in your book which method you used and why you preferred it. Or maybe you tried both of them. Now here's a little challenge at the end. Maybe you've done this one already. What if this last activity ended at 2 o'clock? Do we need to recalculate the whole problem again? I don't think we do, because we've already worked out the answer, haven't we? We know that it takes 2 hours to get from 11:55 to 1:55, so we can count on how many minutes from 1:55 until 2 o'clock. 5 minutes. So all we need to do is add 5 minutes to our answer. So 2 hours and 5 minutes, that's how long it would take. Okay. Now for this activity, I would like you to record in your book. You don't need to draw these clocks or anything like that, but you need to read them really, really carefully. So maybe in your book you might want to write number 1 and then the answer. So you're going to work out what time it is 2 hours later and 6 hours later. Probably easiest as well if you write down the original time. Now read the clocks really, really accurately. I'll do the first one with you. The hour hand is pointing to the 10. It's not that much past the 10 because it's only a few minutes past 10. Let's have a look at our minute hand. It's gone past 10 past 10, hasn't it? But I need to be really, really accurate. I would say that's 12 minutes past 10 or 10:12. So in your book, you should be writing 10:12. Don't know if it's AM or PM. You can write that if you like, you don't need to. If you do though, be careful because if you go from AM, think about whether it will then change to the afternoon or vice versa even. So in your book, write down 2 hours later than 10:12 and then 6 hours later than 10:12, okay? Again, pause the video and when you've done that in your book, unpause it and we can check our answers. Okay, I'm putting the answers up in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So 2 hours later than 10:12 is 12:12. And 6 hours later than 10:12 is 4:12. Have a look at the rest of the answers. I don't think I need to read them all out. You can see them. How did you do? There's two different things that you're doing. You're reading the clocks as accurately as you can. So did you get the clock times correct? Maybe you were a minute out. That's okay. Just maybe it was hard to read. If you're a minute out, don't worry too much. But you'll notice that the minutes don't change, do they? It's just the hour that changes because we're just measuring the time in hours. That 2 hours later, 6 hours later, the minutes do not change. The second thing that you're doing is seeing if you can count on in hours. So well done if you got those correct. I have got a challenge for you. I think you're up to this. Do you think you're up for this? I think so. Let's have a read of the challenge. Elliot, Emma, Amira and Hannah completed their homework at the same time at 2:48. What time did each of them start doing it? Fill in the blank with the correct time. Again, you don't need to print this out or anything. You just need to write this in your books. You might write Elliot started at and write down the time. So we need to work backwards. So when you draw your timeline, you're going to have to work backwards and you can be from taking away. I think you're up for this challenge. I really like to see it. I'm not going to give you the answers for this one. So when you've completed it, check it again to make sure that you're correct, and then email me or Miss Phelps if you're in Swans so that we can see your answers. Okay? Enjoy the rest of your day, Swans and Swallows.